Ago now, and that is Marvel's latest role-playing game. That is the Marvel Multiversal role-playing game. The last time that we tried playing this was right after it had come to Roll20, and the character sheet was pretty clunky that time, and we also didn't have any preparations done before we went in for the campaign, or for playing the game. This time, Roll20 has made some substantial changes to the character sheet, so they're a lot more intuitive, and there's a lot more, not only intuitive, they're a lot more functional for the types of game mechanics that you've got in it. Also, I have put together a cheat sheet that is just riddled with typos, but something that's going to have a bunch of references to make it easier to navigate the various abilities and powers that the characters have. And I'm joined once again in this endeavor, taking it out a second time, by Will. And Will, who are you playing today?
I am Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu.
Hell yes. So one of the things they talk about in the book is the idea of making your own Marvel Earth. So we have decided to call our Earth, it is Earth 2950. The reason our Earth is called 2950 is because the atomic weight of copper is 29 and the atomic weight of tin is 50. And if you put the two together, you end up with bronze. So our Marvel Earth is a Bronze Age Earth where the we'll have whatever stuff we want from the Marvel Universe, but it is in the context of the 70s Marvel Bronze Age. So and maybe with a little darker veneer, because that tends to be how I run things. So then we've spent some time talking about the game and just how the new sheets work. We're ready to dive right in. So one thing I've not done any, and one thing we haven't talked about is what iteration of Moon Knight that you want to have, like how pronounced his dissociative identity disorder thing is going to be, Will. So like and also the degree to which his actual powers come from actually Khonshu. The character as written, or as stats go, has an ability called Mighty, where it is effectively super strength. You're able to, you've got 2 points or 2 levels in Mighty. You treat yourself as being 2 sizes larger. So just to give you a context for that, there is a cheat sheet in here, I think, at the back. Oh, that's something with that starter set. I think there's a GM screen that's coming with it as well, which I'd really love. So it's not in there, but it's in the combat section, which is right at the start. You know, it's a non sequitur, but this game and Fallout, which we ran last night for the first time, both put a nice little slim set of rules right at the beginning of the book. So it's super easy to find any stuff you're looking for. And I really like that. All right, so average, you're 2 sizes larger. You can lift a truck, for instance.
Yeah.
So, but you'll let us know what, kind of what that's going to play like in the course. What I will tell you is that our scene opens. I have a establishing shot for us as well. Boom. It is New York, and it is the 1970s, the indeterminate 1970s that comes from any backwards-looking media. And we can see you guys are going through the 70s streets of New York. Now, I'm going to assume, unless you tell me otherwise, that you are currently in a limousine driven by Frenchie. And you are in, I'm thinking, your secret identity of one, the Steve Grant millionaire playboy role, and with you is Marlena.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Okay. You are making your way through, I think the way, I'm assuming that maybe the way you're kind of gussied up and whatnot, you're on your way to some kind of, soiree or some dinner or whatever else.
Yeah, I was going to say dinner or an offer.
Yeah,
or
some
something.
fun, sexy thing that folks do in New York City in the 1970s. So I'm assuming Coke and then whatever else you are doing. So But she needs to make there is a stop off. You may remember that Marlene is the daughter of an archaeologist who was killed by Raoul Bushman in her and her father are deeply involved with the origin of Moon Knight, and you feel free to tweak whatever you want. Like, this is one of the fun things about playing this particular game, is picking whatever canon stuff you want to keep and whatever jettison whatever shit you don't want. Our Bronze Age Earth or Bronze Earth Bronze feels more DC to say. So
I keep thinking police procedural from the 70s.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
Totally locked into.
So this is
all that stuff.
On Earth 2950. You can make whatever, make this whatever version of Moon Knight you like. And where she is headed is to actually meet up with, there is an old friend of her family's, or of her father's, named Dr. Mahmoud Awad. Awad is a Egyptologist, like her father was, and he's got something that he wants to return to her. Something that he said that whatever. Maybe she didn't even go into detail to Mark/Steven/Jake. So you just know. And I think that let's get some dice rolling. Why don't you give us, because we know you have the investigative trait, why don't you give us a vigilance check, and you're going to get an edge with this.
Okay.
Fucking nice one. So what this already means is you're going to get a fantastic result, because you got the Marvel dice, came up Marvel, but you also have an edge, so you can go ahead and re-roll one of those.
3.
Yeah. 18. So, any follow-up questions you have with respect to how Marlene is feeling? She seems a little withdrawn. This is probably a weekend evening, so it's going to be a otherwise fun night out. And perhaps it's because he is leaving, early tomorrow for some reason. That's probably why this is a necessity. You also get the feeling that she's been putting this off for some reason. So do you have any, with a fantastic result, for those listening at home, the dice results, they call the dice in the game the D616, because 616 is the Marvel Earth, and if you're playing with the dice they manufacture, they look like this. And the Marvel dice has the actual Marvel logo in place of the 1, because if you roll a 1, it counts as a 6, and then if you also happen to succeed on your check, it becomes a fantastic success. So that's how criticals work in this game, as opposed to some of the other games. Any other questions you have about...
Maybe, how long has it been since you've seen Dr. Awad?
She looks back from, the cards kind of at the stop-start from this, and she says, It was probably a decade before Dad died, even. I haven't seen him for long. I know my dad and Dr. Awad had different areas. Dr. Awad was, in particular, his focus was on the Egyptian Book of the Dead and Anubis and elements of the Egyptian afterlife.
And what exactly are you picking up from it?
And she kind of looks over at you, and her face is a little flushed, and she says, I don't actually know. He just said he had something that was my father's, and that he wanted to have a chat. I think that they had some disagreement, because I hadn't seen him for some time, and I know they were close, as I never saw them disagree. Dr. Awad was around for a time when I was young, and then he was gone. So, I don't know. He was pleasant on the phone.
Okay.
And she looks back out the window.
Anything else I would want to know? We kind of gotten into the relationship, her relationship, what we're actually doing there. I don't think there's anything else I could think of that'd be real relevant right now. I think we have enough information to go on. So
if how do you think? I know, like a lot of superhero, significant others, Marlene has been. Is it Marlene or is it Marlena?
I think it's Marlena.
Marlena, okay.
I think it's Marlene. I think it's Marlena.
Okay, so do you think that with Marlena, is this a good position where you guys are in right now, or a good status that you're in, or is it a rocky one?
In the relationship in the 70s, I think her and Steven, they're kind of swinging. You know, they're pretty good, I think. So
then it may, you may take her hand then to just give a little bit of a, reassurance. I don't think anything else happens as Frenchie navigates the traffic to get to his brownstone, and as she gets there, the door, Alron, right? Because it was Professor Alron is the one who, she gets there and opens, the door. Frenchie probably gets out, goes around, pulls the door open for her. Yep. She steps out, and then she looks back, and she's like, Mark, do you mind? And she kind of gestures to suggesting, like, do you want to come in?
Yeah, very much so. He definitely would want to go with her.
Okay. And so she heads up. The door is answered by an older Arabic woman or Egyptian woman who looks and says, Marlena. And she takes her hand and she, does that thing that aging folks see when a kid has grown up. She's like, oh, you've grown so, you're so big and you look like your mother. And she kind of flushes and says, well, thank you. How would she introduce you? Is it as Steve Grant?
Yes, it would very much be, would she use the word boyfriend? Probably she would.
Yeah, because the 70s is not, I don't think partner is entered the vernacular. This is also, this is our 70s Earth, so we can make it whatever we want, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I've always pictured her as a little bit younger than him anyways.
Yeah.
So I think she would definitely lean more towards, this is my boyfriend, Stephen Grant.
Okay, so you find this is Mrs. Awad. This is Dr. Awad's wife. So she brings you in, and the place is, it's appointed like, the set designer really nailed the, Egyptologist, brownstone look, because there's stuff on the walls with ankhs and with Egyptian deities and whatnot, the replicas of hieroglyphs. There's pieces of stone that are set out in display cases. It's a well-appointed place, and it seems like it has that well, actually, I was going to say it has that TV or movie logic of level of wealth from professors, but a successful professor from a developing country at this stage is probably going to come from a already rich family to be able to, right? So she comes in, and then you see he comes around the corner at the far end, and he has, again, straight out of Central Casting, older guy. He's got a cardigan on. He's clearly, Egyptian himself. I can't remember the name of the guy who is the famous TV archaeologist who's Egyptian, but he's in all the anytime there's any mummy or whatnot that's being unearthed, he's the one who's on camera doing this. Guy's in his 50s or maybe pushing 60, a little extra weight, shorter, but just a bundle of energy. That's what this dude presents as. That's Dr. Awad. So he comes around the corner and he sees, and his face just lights up, and you see whatever reservations that Marlena may have had, she seems very, very happy to see him once again too. And he comes over and gives her a big hug and says, I'm so pleased that we could meet before we must leave. It's so good to see you. I should not have postponed this for such a long time. And she says, well, it's been so long. I'm just glad that we're able to see you now. And that's when she sort of realizes, Dr. Awad looks over and says, and who is this? And she turns, says, this is Stephen Grant. I'm sorry, Dr. Awad. And he looks at you and says, Mr. Grant, very nice. Any friend of Marlena's is a friend of mine as well.
I stick out my hand, give him a good handshake. It's a pleasure to meet you, Doctor.
And to you, I appreciate you taking time from and he looks up and down at your tuxedo, your suit, your evening out. I trust it will not be long, but I wonder, do you mind if I have a word with Marlena in private? And Marlena looks back and she nods to you like she's okay with it.
Yeah, that is fine, Doctor.
Okay. So, excellent. Then just my study is this way. And he leads her back and away. And Mrs. Awad asks, do you want a drink? Do you want whatever? Anything?
Yeah, definitely. It's the 70s, man. You got to have a drink.
Yep. And these folks are very relaxed Muslims. So they are,
yes.
yeah, they
educated, flags, right on.
Yeah. So they will bring, she'll bring wine out while she's getting things ready to bring a drink to you. You have an opportunity to take a look around. And it may not surprise you to learn that there are some pieces in here that feature Khonshu, god of the moon and travelers. What goes through Mark's/Steven's, I'll call it whatever identity you're in right now, that's probably the one I'll reference rather than doing this. It's fucking.
I think Steven is kind of like, he's the public facing guy.
Okay.
And Mark is when he's got to get a little more dangerous.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you're looking around through this, I guess like the sitting room maybe, or the living room, whatever's facing the street, and you're seeing all these things. And this is where, whatever the background music would be, as you stop and find this piece that features Khonshu, the music would take a change and hit a different cue to it. What's Stephen feeling when he sees something of Khonshu? What's his relationship with Khonshu in this Earth?
In this Earth, I think, he knows it's real, but it's not like an ever-present kind of omnipotent voice in his head.
Yeah.
It's much more on the empathic level. It's much more on the feeling level.
Love it. Okay. So it's that more the way it was at the beginning, where like he's not having conversations with Khonshu, right?
We're not at that point yet.
Yeah. So this could very well be a mental illness that just manifests as superpowers, as opposed to actually being, he clearly believes, but outside observers are not seeing.
Right.
Okay, love it. Then, so you're staring at that, and maybe there's whatever. It's almost maybe like, when there's that that you can feel your heart in your ears, almost not like tinnitus, but like where the rest of it gets quiet. There's like go. You hear that, and you are brought back to reality with someone screams out, "Stephen!" And it's Marlena from the far end of the house.
All right, well, let's charge down there.
Okay. You go racing down. Let's see here. You go racing through, and you almost, if you weren't so agile and it wasn't the evening, you would have knocked over Mrs. Awad with her, 2 glasses of wine. You cut around her, you race down and kick the door open to the study. And we find is Marlena's on the ground, kneeling next to Dr. Awad, who seems to be having some kind of seizure.
Oh my.
And there's on the ground, there is it looks like he has just dropped and something has rolled out of his hands. There is a statue of Anubis. And
what happened?
Dr. Awad is convulsing. If you'd like to, just give a quick overview, you can give us another vigilance check with an edge.
Okay.
Because of your investigative trait.
Let's see. Let's try that. Bam.
Nice. Okay. So, what you can see is there, from where he has fallen. I'm just double checking one thing. I'm saying edge, and I've got my... Yeah, it is edge. Okay, good. I keep saying it, and I'm like, is that right? Is that the right nomenclature?
I looked at it. I was pretty sure that was right.
Yeah, no, it is. Edge and trouble. All right, so you go racing, and not only does it seem like this guy likely had this statue of Anubis in his hand, it looks like they've just fallen away, and there are some parchments and some other accoutrements that are on there. What level of knowledge of Egyptology do you think that... Mark or that Stephen has at this point? Because I think like there's a certain point where he gets like really far into it, but it's not like he's, you know, Carter Hall, where he's got like a comprehensive knowledge of this stuff right from the get-go. What do you think?
I think he's familiar with the Pantheon and the I want to say spheres of influence. I'm not sure what the correct term is, but
okay.
That's kind of his familiarity with it.
Awesome. Okay, so then you see this. You can see that there are some other things up there. You're not, you know, if you ask Marlena, maybe she might know what the stuff is, just because she's got that sort of like osmotic knowledge of archaeology you get growing up around a parent who's really specialized in an area. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he also seems to be talking. Awad is saying something, and it's right now it's just gibberish.
Is it English?
It is English, mixed with what seems to be Arabic, but it seems almost as if there are... You would think it would be an argument.
Oh.
Almost as if something was shouting at someone or struggling.
I'm trying to think. 1970s seizures. I think the next thing Stephen would do is holler for his wife.
Okay.
Because it could be a pre-existing medical condition or something.
So she comes in and she sees him, Mahmoud! And she drops the glasses and they shatter on the ground. And that's when you hear the voices, the kind of contested voices that are going on in his convulsing seem to settle down. And instead you hear... It is definitely Dr. Awad's voice, but it is a different person speaking from the inflection and from the thing, from the way the words are coming out.
Intonation, yeah.
And you hear, Spectre. Mark. Spectre. And you look over, and his eyes are fully rolled back into his head. He's stopped convulsing, and he's sat upright now. And Marlena is looking like back and forth from this and trying to like, what the fuck is going on? Awad seems to be looking directly at you right now.
What do you know of Mark Spector?
He looks at you, and there's a bit of a smirk in this. Because you rolled so well in the vigilance, there's a little bit of a hint of like, wait a minute. And he says I know Mark Spector incurred a debt in the Corazon Valley. And you can hear the wife's like, Mahmoud, because clearly it's not his voice, not his accent that's coming out.
Yeah.
At the comment of the Corazon Valley, your stomach kind of knots up and cool, because it's something you haven't thought of in a really long time. Certainly well before the events that led to your death and rebirth. And he says, the voice says, Mark Spector owes a debt.
A debt to whom?
Market boy. And that... The two of those things together really, there's a name that comes to mind. Edmund Dotree. You find who killed me. You find who killed me, or I'll come back. And then Dr. Awad falls to the ground, fully unconscious.
unconscious. I think the first thing I do is check his pulse.
Just if you race over, and Mrs. Awad comes in as well. Marlena comes in. I think you've got, just from your mercenary days and your military days, you've got enough stuff to. His pulse is it's faint, but it's definitely there. Which is unusual, because you would think after an event like that, his pulse would still be kind of like,
would be high, right?
Yeah, and going down. That doesn't seem to be the case.
Okay, call 911. Let's get an ambulance over here.
Okay, she races out and goes to call. I'm trying to think of whether 911 was a thing in the 70s.
I'm pretty sure it was, Kevin.
Like I know, I know by the time I was a kid, 911 was a thing, but I can't remember if it was what year it was introduced. But so he runs over. She runs off to call an ambulance. In any event, Marlena looks up. She said, "What is that? What does that mean?" And I'll let you fill in the details for what this is. What you know, Mark was obviously a mercenary before, he fell into this life. And if we assume that either, probably not the late 60s, probably early 70s is when you became Moon Knight. How long do you think you've been Moon Knight at this point?
70s. I mean, maybe a decade, probably less.
Yeah, I think probably less than that. Like you're,
yeah.
So I was looking. Oh, here we go. Moon Knight was introduced in 1975. August of 1975 is when Werewolf by Night 30 whatever came out. So do you think maybe, like, probably 5 years at the kind of the outside is probably enough for him to have established himself as these different identities and the whatnot, and to build up? If you want to think he's lower, or like that he's a little further back in his career, 3 years. Oh, awesome. First 911 call is 1968. Awesome.
I thought it was late 60s, but I wasn't 100%. I was thinking about TV shows.
Yeah, totally.
TV shows and thinking, okay, when did we start saying 911, what's your emergency, or call 911? I was thinking back in my mind about that.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's one of the things I love about writing these period games too. Is kind of like, what is this? Is this really the thing? And because of the internet, we can find these answers so quick now.
Yeah, semi-educational. We're not just entertaining; we're also educational.
Exactly. So what? She's off to call 911. So then, if 3 years is I would think probably the bare minimum to establish your identities and whatnot. 5 years means you're more seasoned. So where do you want to fall in that?
I'm leaning more towards the 3, because I'm thinking of the era of the 70s we're in. Yeah. I'm thinking, it's enough for him. He's got a good grasp of who he is, what he can do.
Okay.
And he hasn't had any really major traumatic psychological events yet.
Okay. So then conceivably it's late 60s when you would have been anywhere from the second half of the 60s, actually, which means there's all sorts of really terrible conflicts that folks can be involved in. But the Corazon Valley that he's referencing is a particularly nasty bit of work that you did, contract work in Central Asia, relating to a guy named Edmund Dotree that you are fairly fucking certain was agency. So, probably CIA, possibly SHIELD.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot about SHIELD.
So, you know that there's something he did in there. You know that there was something. It was a black book operation for what you were involved in. And there's something that he did that saved your life or whatever. There's something he did where there was a debt, and I'll leave it to you to figure out what that was. I will tell you that you haven't heard the name Edmund Dotree in probably, if you've been Moon Knight for 3 years, and that goes back maybe like 6-7 years. Okay. He's not entered your sphere of influence since then. One thing I want to mention too, you've got 2 kinds of connections. You got military connections, and I think it is police.
Yeah, police sounds right. Seems like police and military.
Yeah, police and military connections. So let's just talk about how those traits work, because they're not powers. There we go, connections. By making an ego check, you can call on your contacts to try and call in favors, information, stuff like that. Yeah, so Marlena, getting back to the scene, looks up and is like, who's he talking about? What was that?
I don't know what it was. But him and Dotry, there's a man Mark Spector knew a long time ago. I
think the look on her face, like there's a shifting of her because she remembers, that I don't think you have constant reminders of the person you used to be, but every time there is, it's never good.
No.
Right? So she kind of nods.
What did he have in his hand? What did he want it to give you or show you?
It was something that belonged to my father, an artifact that he wished to return, something he had uncovered. And she looks up. Dr. Awad, his study or his focus was on the beliefs involving the afterlife. And the Egyptian Book of the Dead was one such text, but there were others uncovered and there was something my father had uncovered. What Dr. Awad was explaining was what he wanted me to understand the part that Dad's research and excavations played in he found effectively the tools that would be used for an Egyptian seance. And that's what he was showing. And then when he activated or was showing me how these worked, he just suddenly fell over and dropped that statue. Was that a ghost, Mark? Is Dotry dead? You actually...
Yeah, I don't think I know. In reality, I don't know if he's alive or dead, but it was either his spirit or something impersonating. It's one of the two. And I don't think it's something Dr. Awad already had.
Yeah, your vigilance roll is pretty good. I don't think there's a single man alive other than you and Dotry who would know about the Corzon Valley and him calling you Marky Boy.
Yeah.
So she says, what does this mean?
Well, first thing it means is we need to get this stuff to your dad. The second thing it means is I've got to find out if Dotry's still alive.
She says, I'll see to this stuff and get it back home. You and Frenchie, I can find my own way home.
Okay. Do we hear the ambulance yet?
Yeah, I think you probably do, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's like a 10-minute response time, I think, normally even in New York. So, yeah, you can hear that something's coming. So do we cut to you kind of leaving the brownstone and heading back down to Frenchie?
Yeah, I think what you see, he leaves the apartment building and he starts going down the stairs, and you can start to see a change. I mean, it was already starting in his face, but you can see a hardness coming across his forehead and his eyes, and he's loosening his tie as he heads down the stairs.
Okay. And as you're walking down, Frenchie is, leaning against the car, smoking a cigarette. He's got the hat at a jaunty angle for things, and he says, "Leaving so soon?"
We've got trouble, Frenchie.
He flicks a cigarette away. Good. Boring night anyway. And he heads around. Where do you guys go next?
Yeah, I don't know. I assume he has his suit in the trunk or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Where he could get changed in the back of the car.
Yeah, I buy that.
And I think the next thing he wants to do. Let me think for a second. I think he's going to want to try and get in touch with maybe one of his police contacts first.
Sure.
Because a cop would, they would have access to some sort of records, possibly any kind of murders or kidnappings or anything like that.
Okay.
So I think he wants to check with them, run the name by his police contact.
Sure. So then once you get changed, is Frenchie off to go and get the moon copter?
I think what would happen, I think they'd cut down an alley. Probably Mark would jump out.
Okay.
And in fact, honest to goodness, there probably is a moon roof in the limo.
Yeah.
He may just jump out and throw his swing line up onto a building.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so maybe if people are moving along, you took down the alleyway and you see, there's a homeless guy who's kind of disturbed with it, whatnot. The roof opens up and the line goes out, and then whoa, this moon-shaped white cloak just billows out of there. And as Frenchie drives away, the homeless guy is kind of like, you lost your roof. So you get off, and we see you racing across the rooftops, heading in the direction of whatever precinct is you're going to. I imagine as well, this would be the place where we would see the panels of 1 page worth of panels of flashbacks to the Corazon Valley, just to back up whatever we've talked about. Who do you think your contact is? I'm assuming it's a detective, at least, right?
Yeah, he's probably a detective. And I assume most likely he works homicide. He's a homicide detective. It might have been. I'm trying to think if it was. Yeah, it's probably just straight homicide. That's probably what he does.
Okay.
And that's going to be his contact.
And how does Moon Knight get in touch with him? Is it a Batman-esque, you didn't see me here, I'm suddenly here kind of thing, or?
I was kind of thinking a little bit that. I was thinking a little. I guess a smidge more obvious. He's got an office. There's a window.
Okay.
And so Moon Knight just kind of drops down by the line and knocks on the window. Okay.
So this guy, do you have an idea what this dude looks like?
Let's see. He's kind of he kind of looks like he's probably kind of a Dennis Franz kind of character. If you remember him from Hill Street Blues.
Yep.
Portly, balding.
Well, so isn't he's like I want to say, I think he's a villain in either French Connection, or I might be confusing it with, what do you call it, with The Fugitive. Because he plays a villain, a great villain, like a little thug in one of those things, and I can't remember if it's French Connection or if it's, those films are about, 15 years apart, I think, but.
Yeah. Let's see here. Film. 70s. He was in The Fury. He was in Blowout. Those are the main ones I see. Oh, you know who he was? You remember Die Hard 2? He was the police captain at the airport.
I remember him in that. I'm trying to remember what he was in where... Maybe it's Blowout I'm thinking of.
Could have been. I haven't seen Blowout in a minute.
Might be The Package?
I'm not sure.
Which is way after the 70s. I thought he was in something in the 70s where he played a villain too, but I'm not seeing.
He was in The Fury, but I don't remember who he was in The Fury.
Okay. So, but anyway, do you have a surname for this detective?
Let's see here. Let me think for a second. Dunn. I
Dunn?
think that's his Detective Dunn.
Okay. All right. So you tap on the window. Why don't you give us a... Let me check this. Interrogation. I wonder if... Interrogation definitely gives for, like... trying to get info out of somebody, but I don't think you're interrogating your contact per se. See if I can justify an edge for you with one of your traits. Let's see here. All right, interrogation. It's just when you're asking questions. So ego.
Yeah, I was reading that. It's logic or ego.
Yeah.
So it's not just necessarily like.
Yeah, just asking questions. It's not like muscling people out of there.
Right. Right.
Great. Oh, that's cool. So investigation, because one of the things you've got, you can have more than one edge or more than one trouble. With investigation, you have an edge on vigilance checks to spot clues and logic checks relating to interpreting clues. And if you have access to a forensic lab, you get a second edge on those checks.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. Okay,
yeah,
so then why don't you give us, I think at the very least, you're going to have an edge on this. So why don't you give us an ego check first to... Okay, and you got an edge on that, so...
Try and re-roll this one.
Nice. Okay. So you tap on the window, and he kind of startles, looks over, shakes his head, and, does that, like, mustache glowering the way that Dennis Franz really can do. He gestures and, like, come in.
Yeah, so I open up the window and step inside.
Okay. And he says, how did I know that you'd be coming by?
It's a full moon tonight.
All the crazies out tonight. So he looks, to make sure that no one's looking around, he heads over and kind of pushes his door shut, comes over, and he's like, what's this about? Let me guess.
I need information on a name.
All right.
Edward Daughtry.
And his face kind of goes up. His eyes, the look on his face tells you he's surprised by this and that he recognizes the name. And he's like,
no. You know?
Well, that's surprising then.
Why? What do you know?
What we know is that we had uniformed officers called to a murder scene in uptown Manhattan, and uptown Manhattan? Yeah. This is where I really need to do even a modicum of research on like a New York map. So I'm like, if I refer to any fucking location, I am not going to know where I'm talking about. Somewhere George is just going... Ooh, that is so wrong. It is somewhere he references. I think Chelsea. Chelsea is a richer neighborhood, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So, called up there, and we suddenly had the State Department. As soon as we started our investigation, their State Department got involved.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why this Edmund Daughtry might have been murdered? Because we suddenly have a bunch of eyes on this.
He had been a soldier of fortune in Central Asia at one point.
Independent or...
He most likely was government sponsored.
That would explain the State Department's involvement. What's your interest in this? You just want an address?
He was an old friend. And I'm following up on him.
Friend, eh? Well, I don't know what... I don't know much about, because you roll quite well on this too. So I don't know what kind of friends you keep, but he seems to be up to some, whatever he did overseas. I don't think any of it helped anybody. And he says, hold on. Maybe he's actually working the case. Like, with a roll that good, that's a lucky thing. He actually may have the information for you right at hand. You can see pictures of Dotry, and it's like, you know, probably photos they took from his home, you know, of things. And you can see him in suits, and he's meeting with people. Like, it's seeing the guy, you know, a couple of years on, it's not so much time has passed that he's going to be, you know, like, wow, he's so old or whatnot. But
right.
what is shocking is the, you know, bearded or mustached, you know, field operative that you saw is actually like clean cut, and like, it probably reminds you a lot of, in a way, of yourself, right? Like when you're the life you were living as Mark Spector pre-Moon Knight to Stephen Grant, you know,
right.
Clearly he's had access to a lot of money, and clearly he's got some powerful friends from the, you know, smiling white folks in tuxedos that you're seeing in a lot of the photos that he's got. Also seems, is that one with the president? You see Dunn is sort of studying your reactions to this, and he's like, yeah, I found that one interesting too.
Let's see. But no work history. I mean, do you have, like, who was his employer? Do you have any information on that?
The State Department has restricted certain areas of our inquiry. What we know is whoever came into his apartment, they seemed to be looking for something from the way things were ransacked, and they beat the living hell out of him. If he's a friend of yours, I guess I don't need to ask if you're okay to see these. And he puts over, there are some black and white crime scene photos, and like, his face is unrecognizable. Like someone literally beat him to death. And from the little bit of the scene that you can see from these photos, the place has been absolutely trashed. You're lucky, though, because of the State Department's interference and our feelings towards restrictions on our jurisdiction in our city. It's not really much of anything that's been done there. Crime scene's barely been processed.
And the State Department probably doesn't really care about that part.
I think they're deciding how best to, if this is going to be swept under the rug or thoroughly investigated.
They're blocking you out. They're going to try and hide it up. I need to go check out the crime scene.
I'd be careful. I'll bet you they got eyes on it. But, and he pushes forward. He's written down on a little scrap of paper what the address is, in case that memory of yours fails.
Thanks, Detective.
He just, yeah, I mean, not going to be one to say much. Just going to, nods, sits back down, goes back to work. Any other questions for him?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to head to the window, maybe head to the roof.
Okay.
Maybe,
around then when,
the
silent mooncopter comes, humming in. There's probably a low hum that comes in from it. Even with the baffling, it's still like 70s, tech and whatnot. So you're able to throw up and get back up into the copter. Where to now?
Let's head to his
Frenchie looks
apartment.
back. Hello, boss. Where to?
Chelsea District.
I don't see. The chopper starts heading off in the direction of the Chelsea District. We're already at our mid-session break. So why don't we take our mid-session break now, and then we'll come back and see what awaits you in Dotry's apartment in Chelsea. And for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Don't leave that.
All right. Let's get some stuff set up here. Let's see. And for those listening at home, we did not have... This is a rushed prep for today, so apologies. We're not going to have a huge amount of spot-on reference photos, but we recently ran something set in the 80s in New York City, so do have some stuff that's not far off as far as reference photos are concerned. Yeah, we'll use that. It's about a decade off, but oh, actually, I like that better. All right. I hope everyone is having a great start to their weekend. Oh, what is going on here? There we go. So for those listening at home, if you are having an issue with when you're dragging and dropping images in for your Roll20 stuff and it's automatically sizing to the square, you can hold down Alt as you drag them in and it will size appropriately. Okay, there we go. Now let's get some other things set up here. That's oof. Let's go to GM's layer. Clear that out. And there we are. All right. Yeah, set that, and that. Okay. Setting up some stuff. As
I'm sure you are.
We're going here. You know, it's nice because a lot of the what do you call it? Write-ups for the characters. They end up with similar abilities. Like once you have one of these reference cheat sheets together, it's actually easy to look up what. Yeah, that's awesome. The villains or whatever the stats I was looking at, I've only got one thing I need to look up that you don't already have.
Oh,
yeah, which is cool. So like it's in terms of like the longer play with this game, I imagine like you would just get to know what some of these things do instinctively, the way you learn with any game, right? And oh, that is fucking cool. Okay. I just want to double check it. Yeah, okay, that's going to take cost focus. All right. So, as you are approaching Chelsea, now again, for those listening at home, my knowledge of the layout of New York City is... I was last there, I believe, when I was 14, so my apologies for my deep ignorance of the layout of the city, but this is what we're going to use.
My knowledge comes from watching my son play Spider-Man.
Exactly. See,
it has a really good map, and I mean, it's pretty accurate. It's really detailed well.
It's a great game too.
When you go in a different district, it'll kind of say.
Yeah. They do. I played the first one, not the current one with Craven in it, but the last one that came out for that, and really it does a great job of giving you a feel of a sense of place in New York.
Yep.
Great stuff. So this is what we're going to use for basically like this is the type of brownstones and whatnot that will be around there. So, wider street out below. There's a lot of, not brownstones, but buildings that'll be around. He's going to be one of the upper lofts, like probably has one entire floor for that. Mm-hmm. And it's otherwise these kind of like 4 to 6-story buildings that are all around this neighborhood as you're sort of, coming in on your, on the mooncopter. What are your thoughts as to how you're approaching? Are you keeping an eye out for anything or...
He's probably... I think he's probably kind of confident that coming in from the top down is a lot safer. It's the State Department. They're probably not thinking any kind of super involved investigation.
Why don't you do
probably
this?
More focused. Yeah, go ahead.
Give us a logic check with one edge.
Sure.
For your investigation. I expect you've got experience with, when they say State Department, they probably mean CIA involvement. Okay, so you got an edge on that, so you can... Well, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, I'll re-roll the 1.
Okay.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay. So, to give context for that, the difficulty for a rank 4 character, which yours are, typically a challenging target number is a 14. So that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
For the outcome from it. Do you have any questions about like standard procedure or about what to expect as far as the police or the military or the State Department / CIA might have?
There's definitely, I think he'd probably be aware there's at least somebody on the ground. There's at least somebody down on the ground level. It could be a surveillance van.
Yeah.
With it being the CIA, that's probably what he's on the lookout for first, is to see if there actually is a surveillance van or something down there. That's the main thing he's looking for. And then, of course, just making sure there is nobody on the roof. I doubt it would be anybody, but those are the 2 things he's looking at first.
Yeah, so this is going to be... So challenging is 14, and then the way that... the target number modifiers are a difficult task, for instance, where... Now let me double check this for... okay, so the circumstantial... The standard difficulty is going to be 14, and then... oh, okay, so Edge and Trouble will cancel each other out. That's what I was wondering, because what I was thinking through is the difficulty set by the circumstances or by the fundamentals of the task itself, and then Edge and Trouble come in as circumstantial modifiers, and that seems to be the case.
Okay.
So you're going to be rolling vigilance normally. Okay. Because there is, and that's just because of the darkness.
Yeah, okay. So let's get a good roll here.
Fantastic. 14 right on the nose.
Yep.
Okay, so then, and that's also fantastic success because you got the thing. All right, so here's what you see. As you're going in and doing the mooncopter, kind of circling of the building, you can see that on an adjacent building, there is an open window. And when you sort of, like, Frenchie, look in there, and there's a, you kind of zoom in with your optics. Not only do you see that there is, there's the big telephoto lens camera on a tripod thing and a big other set of binoculars to look in on that stuff, you're actually able to see in that there are bodies on the ground, and then there are 2 other people. So you can see there's 2 bodies a little further in. You may do a low pass in here to be able to get the angle for this. They're near the top. And there are 2 men in there. One is watching through the binoculars. The other one is just sort of standing thuggish to the side. And
they are expecting someone.
that is who you see.
Totally not suspicious.
And let me make a quick roll. So you got a 14. I'm going to make a contested roll here. And see. I get to justify the purchase of my dice now. I'm so excited. All right. And be an agility check. All right. And I get one. Let's re-roll that. All right. Okay. So what? That's what you see down there, and I think what seems to be, if you were to guess, based on that fantastic result, there's a surveillance team that was put in place there, who were eliminated, and someone else has now taken their place.
Maybe we should start with that building.
Okay. What would you like to do?
Yeah, let's hover over that building and let's go ahead and slide on down to the rooftop. I may just glide down.
Okay.
Actually,
why don't you give us just to judge the sneakiness, give us an agility check against their vigilance defense score. Yeah.
Pretty good.
You are absolutely going to be unseen by these two guys. So
yeah.
Let me grab. And go. So they are up in one of these side buildings. You have, they are absolutely unaware of you going in. Tell us how you kind of approach it. You can picture they're in sort of a, it's the, proverbial like loft that's under construction. So they've, gone in there and now they've set up their surveillance. So it's hidden behind plastic, construction plastic and stuff like that.
Trying to think. I'm trying to, one option would be to kind of just swing from the top into the window. Mm-hmm. And that seems very fitting and heroic. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
Hell yeah.
Get my swing line there on the edge of the building and just kind of do the rappel swing in.
Okay. So then why don't we, just because I think you're going to win this for sure, so well, give us an initiative check. And I don't know if you need to click on your token or not.
I'll click on token just to be safe.
Yeah. Excellent. Oh, we got others in there. So this is a 616 roll that you add your initiative to. So that's a pretty fucking good roll. And let's see here. Mine was not nearly as good. Now, let me get my Eastern Bloc Thug initiative tracker. Inching towards, our 7th month of not losing track of initiative trackers.
Yay.
So, yeah, I get a prize at the end of the year.
No prize.
No prize, exactly. All right, Moon Knight, so you're up first. So you would have a standard action and a move, just so we can refresh our memories of what your action economy is in this game. You have every round a standard action. You have a reaction, and I believe you can move.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, and then a move action.
Yeah, actions, reactions, movement is what. Okay.
So what are you thinking?
Let me think.
And you got your cheat sheet for your different things in there as well?
Yeah, I think he's going to close the edge.
My initiative tracker is much bigger than it needs to be. Let me just condense this sucker down. It's like, there are 2 people who are acting in this round. I do not need something that's taking up half the screen. All right.
What would, let's see, so but they're standing close together, right?
They're relatively close together, yeah.
Okay. I think
You could hit both of the melee attack if that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Whirling Frenzy as my action.
Yeah.
And, get both of them as I come in.
So Whirling Frenzy costs 5 focus to do, and you do get the critical effect on that, but there's... you can get the exact same result with... or similar one with Fast Strikes.
You think so? Split your attack.
Because it's half damage on a hit. The only difference is, do you want to attack their agility or do you want to attack their melee? Because a lot of these other ones don't cost you focus.
Yeah. Oh, let's start with the fast strike then and see how it works.
Okay. So you sweep down. You fly into the room. Is it through the window, like right where they're facing?
Yeah, it's like the dude is right there with camera, and I mean, Moon Knight just comes right in on him with his feet.
All right, go ahead. Their defense is an 11.
Okay,
so go ahead and make your... You got 2... Wait, hold on. I think it's maybe 1 attack.
Yeah, I think it's... Well, I'll read it again. Split your attack on 2 close targets versus melee.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Close targets versus melee. Yeah, split your attacks on 2 close targets.
Let's see here. So I'm gonna look it up in the book, but I think you actually can click on your power and have it display.
You think I can click on that fast strike?
Yeah.
Let me try that. Fast strike.
Make a single melee attack. Compare it to the targets. The reason I didn't include it in the cheat sheet is because they all seem to be phrased the same. Make a single thing. Compare it to everyone's whatever. Great. All right. So that wasn't. I'm gonna give you an edge because you're also attacking from surprise.
Okay.
So do you want to? And as a reminder, the Marvel dice is the one that is used to calculate damage.
Yeah, I think I want to go ahead and re-roll it.
Okay. Okay. Well, no worse, no better. All right. So comparing that to both to both of their defense, melee defense, though, their melee defense is an 11. So that is a hit on both of them, and at half damage, that is 12. You take out both of them, because they only have, 10 health.
Nice.
Swoosh! And these guys are down. You think, for a split second, you hear, Bosamoy! And until, the 2 of them are down. Now, they 2 are you rendering them unconscious? Or are you killing them?
Yeah, that's all he wants to do. He wants to knock them out right now.
Okay, so those 2 are unconscious. The other 2 who are in here are definitely dead.
All right, I think step 1 is checking IDs.
Okay. Why don't you give us a vigilance... give us a logic check with an edge.
Okay.
This will be your part of your investigator stuff. Good roll.
Let's see here. Let's re-roll the 4.
Fantastic. So you're looking through these things, and what you have seen fake IDs before, and these are pretty good. These are the kind of things that would pass more than just cursory inspection, but there's some telltale things on them that tell you that these are fake IDs. You're pretty sure that this one dude is not from Sandusky. So, you didn't get a fantastic success, but you did roll really well. So what you would guess, this is the caliber of fake ID that comes from tradecraft, from espionage, not just from, thugs going in. You spy a look, or you sort of like look back over your shoulder, and their camera and the binoculars seem to be still focused on the building across where Dotri's office would be.
I think probably the first thing he'd do now that he's knocked him, is that just like a narrative thing? Like they're not going to like wake up while I'm doing other stuff.
No. It's not like Champions. Okay. Take time going by and like punching someone on the ground to make sure they're out.
About gagging them and tying them up. And I was like, you need to. So,
although there is, to that point though, there is a fantastic failure as well. If you roll 2 1s and you roll the Marvel dice, that's the sort of like critical fail situation. Although you can always spend karma to re-roll. So let's see here. I wonder if you can re-roll a fantastic failure.
Don't know.
If you get a fantastic roll and your result is less than the target number, that's a fantastic failure. Unlike fantastic success, there are no standards for how to handle fantastic failure. Instead, the effect is entirely left up to the player. Oh! They get to suggest an idea for something special. If the narrator approves, that happens. Oh, there is a name. It's not editor-in-chief. There is a title for the game master.
Editor-in-chief is way cooler.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I think the narrator is because this gets into, if they're already saying that the players get to narrate that, they don't want I imagine they don't want the authoritative, like, the game master controls everything kind of perspective or it's implied by an editor-in-chief, but I mean,
well, I think that's good. I mean, it gives the players a narrative, and then, like I said, use an editor. I think that works.
Absolutely. I think that editor-in-chief not only fits like that, we know what we mean when we say that too, but it also, the spirit of an editor-in-chief is to see the very best work out of the person that they're working with, not to supersede it or override it or dictate it or whatever. So I think I agree.
Yes,
also, fucking Stan Lee, man. Like EIC is exactly what will be.
Yeah.
Okay, so then with these thugs defeated, what do you do next?
Let's see here. I guess I need to check the dead guys too.
Okay. So if you check over, well, you won't need to roll again because you rolled. There is State Department credentials that are on these guys, which you would suspect are used by the member. CIA is not supposed to be operating within the borders. I'm trying to think. I think what year was the Church Commission?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Let's see here.
My head hurt.
I'm gonna quickly look here because that's when things really change. Where 1975.
Okay.
So this is. Maybe the CIAs are not supposed to be operating on domestically, but this is the way you get around that stuff, right?
Yeah. Is there any kind of communication equipment in here?
There is radios, and you can see they're sort of like earpiece things on one of the bodies of the surveillance team. One of them is missing and is on the other.
Okay.
So I think you can infer that. Well, let me ask you this: why do you think that one of these foreign agents might want to still listen in if they've taken out these two guys?
I think, of course, in a stakeout type situation that might be dangerous, you're going to check in with somebody periodically.
Absolutely.
Or somebody's periodically going to check in on you. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
How much time do I have before somebody shows up looking for these dudes?
Okay. So there is there's like a earpiece and comm unit or radio that matches the dead guys, and then there's another set that are that seem to be foreign in creation. They have that kind of cruder look that some Soviet technology does, at least in media.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and look through the camera and see if I can see anything.
If you look through the camera, what you can see is the windows are all open in the penthouse across the way. The lights are off, but you can see from the various lights going around. There's got to be about 7 people who are looking around. Someone is giving that place a good tossing. Okay. In the dark with flashlights. Okay. And these guys didn't seem to be. That the one guy was on the binoculars when he looked. Binoculars had now been spun around because I think you punched him off of them. But if he was watching in there, they would have been aware of what's going on. And if you listen in, there is only from the radio that is connected to the dead guys.
Right.
There's like maybe one little bit of like squawked information that you hear by a single voice comes over speaking English. You can hear on the other one there's more communication going back and forth. I don't think we don't track languages you speak in this game.
Oh, okay.
But I think at the very least, you recognize Russian when you hear it.
Yeah, he definitely would recognize it.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Someone is speaking Russian over there.
Okay, so I need to get over there. The windows are open, but they're not looking back over here, and they were thinking they were guarded by somebody watching them. So let's swing over there.
Okay.
And
why don't you give us an agility check?
Sure.
With he said, I'm trying to decide. I think it's just a flat. You're already really good at that anyway, so I don't think we need to make any other adjustments. A 13 is what you're looking for. That's a fantastic success as well.
Yes.
So you can get not only over there, but let's say inside, if you'd like.
Yeah, since the windows are open, he can kind of zoom in there.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like loft situation where the big rafters and whatnot, so you can easily get yourself stuck up there. So there are, down here, there are 7 of these guys who are all looking around in here.
Okay.
Spread out throughout the...
Yeah, they're spread out.
Yeah.
This is where I want to do some of that Batman shit.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I want to do kind of that sneaking, taking out thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably start from one end of the building or one end of the penthouse, I guess, and work my way towards the other end.
Sure. So then, what are you thinking here? Vicious attack?
Which one?
Vicious is the one that does regular damage on a hit, double damage plus a crit on fantastic. Depending on what you're using.
Let's do
if you use your truncheon, the critical effect is the stun.
Yep. Because that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to shut these dudes up and take them out one by one. Okay.
So we'll keep the initiative. So you're there at the first. Why don't you go ahead and give us... You've already got your fantastic success on the oh, one second. I need to roll one thing.
Go ahead.
I just remember there's something else. I think I might need to get a second copy of the core book because I'm so sick of flipping through. Well, when I was prepping last night, like it's just because there's the stats for the characters in one part of the book, and then there's the powers in the other. Yes. Even having a second copy just to be able to have like one open to the powers, one open to the other one would be handy. Until I get to know these a little better. Yeah. I also really like this non sequitur. I like that everything sort of starts with a base level of the rank. So like if I need to come up on the fly with what a modifier is that's around what your difficulty is, I can do that without having to, necessarily look it up.
Right.
So it does seem pretty flexible. All right, so let's roll here. And I'm going to give... Okay. So then why don't you go ahead and whatever attack you're planning on doing, go ahead and give us your attack.
Here we go.
All right. Ooh. Now, here's where you could spend a point of karma.
Right, to try and re-roll the Marvel die?
Heck yeah.
Let's see here. So let's do that.
Okay.
3... Okay, that updated.
Yeah.
And let's roll this.
Oh, big hit.
Yeah,
all right.
A big hit.
So what does it look like as you take this first dude down?
I mean, he just drops down and just, as he's coming down, and he just swings that club, that truncheon, just right into the back of his neck.
And are you just like dropping him, or are you trying to hit him and then like hide him somewhere?
I think the main thing he's going to do, really, it's not so much hide him, it's turn off his flashlight.
Oh, okay. When the flashlight winks out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then why don't you give us another agility check, this time with trouble.
Ooh, okay. Let's roll agility. And then, so what? I'd take the highest
Yeah, roll
one
the 6 with the trouble.
Got it.
Yeah, basically, I'm always going to get you to reroll the other one. All right, so they don't seem to have noticed that he is down.
That's right.
Going to give us a second attack?
All right, here we go again.
Yep.
Not bad.
A second one down.
Yep.
And then give us a check with 2 trouble.
Oh my! All right.
So let's reroll that 6 first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked on Edge. That's my fault.
Oh, okay. No problem. I think you can keep going. You are committed to that 6. Last one. Let's do that. Trouble on that 6 once again. Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right. So then, did you roll the trouble on the 6 or did you roll the trouble on the 2?
I don't think I did, Kevin. I think I did it on the other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do the trouble on the 2.
There you go.
Okay. Still good enough, though. Go ahead and make your 3rd attack.
All right. Melee.
I'll move them off to the side as we turn things. Yeah, another.
And
this will be with 3 trouble.
So reroll all of them, basically. Well,
no, yeah, because we...
Nice.
Yeah, so,
yep, I got it.
All right, so let's reroll that marble dice.
Yep. Trouble.
And then let's reroll that again for the 2nd time.
Roll again.
And one more.
One more. There you go.
Still.
Close, yeah.
Still good. All right. It's that big agility bonus you get. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go the next one.
Okay. That is, that's 11 is still good, or 13 is still good enough.
Yep. Yeah, he's just walking through here, just ninja stealth.
Yeah, and like probably not wasting any time either, right? Like just
no, he's moving just from one to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this will be 4 trouble.
This will be 4 trouble. Yeah.
Okay, so reroll 6 first.
Yeah.
Reroll either of the 3s.
Either of the 3s, yeah.
Okay, so
actually, the non-marble dice 3, yeah. Because if you get a
non-marble,
yeah, and then so that's 2 rerolls so far. Reroll that 3 again.
Okay,
Non-marble 3. Non-marble 3.
Non-marble. Okay.
And I guess that non-marble 3 once again. I really like that they've incorporated this into the dice roller.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah. It'll keep showing up as 3. Like if you rolled better, it'll just always display as 3.
Okay. I was like, is it really changing?
No.
I started to wonder.
And I think like for those listening at home, I'm not sure if that's how we're supposed to do it. Like maybe I just would be increasing the difficulty instead, but I don't know. The trouble's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the edge trouble is a good mechanic.
I like it. Yeah. So then you're good. There are 3 left.
Oh man.
Give us so you rolled a 14. I'm gonna let them roll here. Let's just see if they happen to notice.
They realize it's getting darker and quieter.
Yeah. I did roll a Marvel dice on this, and I got 12, 13, 14, 15. So they sort of stop, and this is where they notice, like, wait. And they're all in maybe one room, and they realize that, like, they're talking, like, Sergei! Sergei! And they're in Russian, they're saying to one another, they all pull out guns and are beginning to look around. Let's roll initiative.
Okay.
Again, so roll for
make sure.
Oh, and incidentally, you have edge on initiative, by the way. One of your things.
Well, good. I needed it.
Yeah,
because that's terrible.
Oh, yeah, that is not good. So go ahead. 8. Okay, so just replace with an 8 in there. I did roll a little better. 9, 12, 13. Okay. So here 13. And you got an 8. All right, so first thing they're going to do is... they're sort of talking to one another, trying to see if they can spot you. Your last stealth was a 14. Let's see here. That is a 12, 13, 14. Okay. One of them points you out to the other 2, and then they are going to shoot. They're actually going to use suppressive fire on this, which is, well, that's the thing. I was like, oh, that's cool. And the reason I think it's cool is because it does focus damage instead of health damage.
Oh.
Yeah, and it targets your vigilance as opposed to your agility or your melee.
Mm-hmm.
Makes an agility attack against the vigilance defense. You apply health reduction normally, and then any damage is taken to the focus instead, which is neat because your focus actually has damage reduction.
Oh.
Yeah, so like normally they wouldn't get a chance to. This is just a unique situation with their abilities. So this is an agility. Your vigilance defense is a 12.
Correct.
Okay, so I got +1 to this. So one of them begins firing with a little machine pistol. That is a miss. So firing at you doesn't get anywhere close. Second one fires. Ooh, I got a Marvel dice. And that is 11, 12, 13, 14. So this would be a hit. Now here's where your karma comes in. You can spend a karma and make me roll with trouble. Which would mean I'd have to re-roll that Marvel. Which would mean the fantastic success I've got right now might go away. Do you want to do that, or you want to take the hit?
I mean, I think I can take the hit. That's not a lot, really.
Okay, so it'll be, because it's
14.
6 times 1 is 6. So you'll take 6 points of focus damage.
And then does that include the damage reduction?
6 plus 1, 7 points. It actually, because the health damage reduction applies on this particular attack, you don't get the benefit of the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, suppressive fire, the way it's intended is, I think, if you're bulletproof, then the suppressive fire is not going to shake you, rattle. Like, if the thing has someone firing a machine gun at them, he's not going to be as rattled as what someone, who's got no, vulnerability to it. So you would take 7 points of focus damage.
All right, so that should be
and then it's your turn. What are you doing?
Let's see here. I think I want to jump into them and unleash hell.
Hell yeah.
Let's see here.
I think they're all close enough. You were talking about that whirlwind attack, and that sounds like a lot of fun. So they're probably all close enough.
What he's going to do at this point.
Crescent darts or with your whatchamacallit, your truncheon?
I think they're both equal as far as...
It'll be the critical effect you're choosing to go for.
Actually, the agility gets one more.
The agility?
Yeah, because my agility's 7, my melee's 6.
Oh, yeah.
And then what was the special? The critical from the darts?
The critical from the darts will be slashing, which means they'll get bleeding. They'll take 5 health per round. The other one is stun. So really, it's your choice of what weapon you're using to the critical effect that you might get.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense for him at this point, since they're shooting at him, to throw some crescent darts at him.
Hell yeah! All right.
Focus.
So go ahead. So you'll leap within there. You spend 5 focus, which you did, and then go ahead and give us an agility attack. Their defense is an 11, so that hits everybody. Why don't you tell us? It's not a fantastic success, but it's good enough to take all 3 of them down. What does it look like as you take these 3 down?
So he had taken that last guy down. They saw him, and he probably crouched down, maybe behind a couch.
Yeah.
He's just kind of looking out while they were shooting at him and missed. And then he reaches into his belt and pops up, and he flings the 3 darts at him.
Okay. You do have to be in close range. So it is, whirlwind attack does have to be in fairly close.
Okay.
Right? Because maybe click on whirlwind attack, whirlwind frenzy.
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me get back over there. I was going to the cheat sheet.
Yeah, sorry. So I think it's within reach. Yeah, within your reach. So it's not a ranged attack per se. Although it's weird because it's whirlwind frenzy is. Oh no, it is under blunt. Yeah, it's under the melee weapons thing, but that's fine. Basically, you would be holding the crescent dart in your hand.
Okay.
Right, so that's fine. You know what I might do in the cheat sheet is put what power it's from, But I don't think, like we need to double check, but I don't know if it's really, as far as I'm concerned, I don't really give a shit whether you're using one of your weapons or another weapon. Like, I wouldn't gate the things between, because there's so many instances where, like, Moon Knight's thrown his truncheon or his ankh or his whatever, right?
Well, I mean, yeah.
And he has that, like, he has, in at least by the time of when he's part of the West Coast Avengers, he's got that, like, punch dagger thing that's got the crescents on the either side too. So, yeah. All right, so you leap in there. There's this billowing cloak, and then you hear them cursing in Russian. The machine guns are still firing. All three of them are down, bleeding. Oh.
Yeah. All right. Probably. I don't think they can call anybody else for backup. I think this was the whole kit and caboodle for them.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about them just laying there bleeding. But somebody's bound to have heard gunfire in the building. So I need to hurry up and try and make whatever kind of investigation I need to.
Sure.
And get out of here.
So probably vigilance with an edge.
Okay.
So this is where the difficulty actually would be. It wouldn't be a situational thing. Because this place has been looked over, normally difficulties are 14. I think we'll make it a 16 because there's been people looking over. You're looking for, like, the gaps, right? In whatever the person who initially...
to spot clues.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But you got an edge.
I just used it, and it rolled the same die.
Oh, you could spend karma. You could spend karma.
That's what I was going to say. Can I spend a karma on that?
Yep.
And try that again. So let's do that.
Let me check. Just let's see what rules is written. How edge?
Okay.
Because I think you can. I just want to see if I can do it. It's your edge. I think it's one at a time, but let me double check here. Yeah, when you have edge stacked from 2 or more sources, you can re-roll the same dice repeatedly or re-roll different dice, choosing as you want. I like that a lot because one of the things I like about the Fantasy Flight, Legend of the Five Rings, and the Star Wars games and the Warhammer game, I like anything where, like, the table is looking at the dice. Anything that makes the dice where you're doing more than just, like, rolling, finding the result, and then going back. I like the idea of sitting around like, you know what, let's re-roll this one. Let's spend an edge and re-roll it again. I think that's pretty cool. So yes, so you can re-roll that too if you'd like.
Try this. There we go.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Okay. So what you're looking around here, and one of the things that you're finding, there's a lot of tribal kind of art from around the world that's in here. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is very animal focused. So there's very, like, there's probably like in a glass case, there is a, like, leopard warrior thing from Mexico or from South. There is something similar from sub-Saharan Africa that likewise has, like, a totemic embodiment with the warrior. There's something similar from Cambodia, so, and there's something from, maybe from North America as well, where what seems to be in here is there's a lot of stuff in this guy's apartment about, like, embodying the totemic power of animals.
Okay.
And it's looking through that, you can see there are a couple of places where things seem to be missing from here.
That's what I was fixing to ask. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So clearly in his collection, among those things, there's some stuff that's missing. And it's not labeled. He's clearly has done well enough. He's that kind of rich guy where he has a bunch of things on display where there is a... it's displayed with a museum quality thing, but it doesn't have the labels that you would, because he knows what this thing is.
Right.
So, would you also give us just a straight vigilance check with no edge?
Okay.
I'll check something else here.
Not bad.
Okay. So you're probably in the other room. You're mindful of the potential that someone might be coming up from downstairs to check out what the gunfire is. Perhaps you even hear, with a roll that good, you can hear the sound of sirens. But this is New York City on a weekend. Like, when do you not hear fucking sirens?
Yeah, exactly.
But
especially in the 70s.
Okay, so that was yeah, totally. This is, I don't mean to laugh at that. The Kitty Genovese thing is was late 60s, early 70s, or was it 70s?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of when Deathbird Stories was written, because that's where Harlan Ellison wrote that story about it. I think it was the 70s, Kevin. I think.
Yeah. So this is, burning Harlem era.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go on the subway in New York.
Negative.
Okay. In which case, let's see. So you hear someone has landed on the sill for one of the windows in the other room. They try they're pretty fucking good, and you barely heard them, but someone landed on the sill coming from outside.
Okay, so I need to get stealthy.
Okay.
Just an agility check to see if I can.
Yeah, absolutely. We can test it for sure. You can leap up. So let me make a vigil. Oh, I'll use the defense. This is what that's for. Go ahead and roll against their vigilance defense.
So I got a 20.
So what you see...
And fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, and a fantastic result as well. Oh, this is great. So you'll tell us when you choose to interrupt. Sure. What... So you are you thinking like back up into the rafters in here? Or are you hidden on the ground floor?
Yeah, that's probably the best place. As soon as he heard something, he's like, okay, I got to get back up off of the floor.
Okay. So you're up there and you're hidden, and you can see someone is moving, and they're moving very quietly in. And with they don't have any light with them, but they move in, and as they come into frame into this, let's say that the room that they were searching over was like the dining room. This is the living room. So it's got like, a big open kind of like, maybe a sunken, it's a 70s, maybe a sunken living room kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they move out of there, and there's no lights coming in apart from the, whatever street lights there are outside. The person who moves into the room is a big fucking guy. Like, this is a, like, bodybuilder or potentially, someone who's real fucking big, and you see in their arm they have something that at first you think like, are they carrying something, a tray or whatnot, and you realize from where it's placed, it's an enormous circular shield. And as they step forward, they seem to be they're taking stock of the downed villains or whatever that you've dropped. And am I on the GM layer? I am. And then when they step into a place where just a little bit of light catches them, you're able to see who it is who's standing there, and it is...
Damn. Couldn't be Captain America. Nope. Had to be the other guy.
Let's see here. Why don't you give us just a flat logic check? Let's see if you recognize who this fella is. Easily. Fantastic success. Yeah. So precisely this is the Soviet Union's answer to Captain America. This is the Red Guardian. And one thing that is sort of sometimes lost is just how big of a dude this guy is. And how much of a, I think how much of an equivalent to the sneaky commando that Captain America can be at his, when he chooses to be. He's going in, he doesn't seem to have any idea of who you are. He's going over and checking and inspecting each of the fallen bodies. He doesn't have any idea that you're in here.
Yeah. I think I'm going to watch him right now. Because, if I get down there, I know he's going to try and whoop my ass.
Okay. So he moves around. He inspects everything. He seems to be at his wary. He seems to be very, very wary of something else being in here. he, it seems, is going to be, he talks into his, he touches his, the little things at the side of his cowl, and he says something in Russian, and he begins picking up the bodies of the unconscious guys and begins sort of dragging them in, and you can see the way he's doing so, they might as well be like stuffed animals.
Yeah.
With how easily he's able to do so. It also sounds like Siren's, as implausible as it seems, might be even getting closer.
Okay, so maybe I want to try to lay him from cleaning the scene.
You also can hear some rattling at the door. And I think you can hear voices shouting, and it does sound like there's voices shouting in English. You think to your initial suspicion that there's probably surveillance on the ground and up here.
Mm-hmm.
Gunfire is reported. The cops will take some time to get here, but whoever's in surveillance downstairs, they're probably coming up quite easily.
Which would have been probably the CIA guys. Now I don't want them to...
You see, it seems like Red Guardian has likewise realized what's going on, and the way he's sort of taken a stance, you get the sense that he's planning on... I mean, if you were a foreign agent acting on U.S. soil, would you want any witnesses?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's see. Do I want to roll for initiative to see if I can surprise him?
You rolled a fantastic success on your stealth. I think you're good. You tell us how you'd like to jump in. If you'd like to do that, if you want to jump in and on him, then you'll get a free kind of round or free action on him.
Okay, yeah, let's try that first. Let's just try and drop on him and
am I thinking,
see if I can whack him.
Am I right in thinking that you're doing this because you don't want him killing some...
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what the CIA... I mean, these people have mothers. These people have spouses. I mean, they don't deserve to get wiped out by some commie.
The reason I ask is because that gets a karma.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's how you get karma back, is by doing like heroic stuff or fun stuff in the session or whatnot. That makes sense. Let me quickly set up his token so you can see, you can track your progress as against him. And, excuse me.
His token has a bajillion health.
One benefit you've got from this is that this version of Moon Knight benefits from the big push that he got in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Right? So he's actually rank 4.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking he would be like a 3 or something, but yeah, he's a 4.
Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Great. All right, I'll put down his... Here we go. Oh, if I don't know how to say... I know how to say Red Skull in German. I don't know how to say Red Guardian in Russian.
In Russian?
Yeah. Okay. Then, what are you thinking?
Well, the first thing I want to do... So, like, I've got this power attack stance, which is tied to my martial arts.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. Let's quickly check how you recover focus. Because you did take out those guys. I wonder if, like, I know it's spending karma allows you to make a check to try and recover. Okay, so recovering with karma is make a resilience check. For focus, it's a vigilance check. Target number is 10 on a success. So you would treat it just as if it was a damage roll. And so
that's how much you get back.
Multiply it, and that's how much you get back. In downtime, let's see here, for healing, I think you get, it's your rank times something per hour, I think. I was reading that this morning. Here we go, heal in. So it's the karma recovery. Otherwise, you regain lost health and focus equal to your rank every hour that you take it easy. For every hour you sleep, you double that. Okay, so if you're good with where things are at right now, though, then you can just...
yeah, I think 78 is pretty good. I mean, it's me versus one guy right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the attack stance. Since they double their melee ability bonus to damage.
Yeah, so what that would do is you've got an ability, your bonus to melee is +4, it would become +8.
Okay. Is it +4 or +6?
So the multiplier is ×6. The bonus is +4.
Yeah, but didn't you change it by 2?
No,
earlier?
that was to change the multiplier, because the way it was set earlier was it was only your rank. And you've got Mighty, Mighty 2, which increases the rank multiplier by 2, and you've got Accurate 2, which increases your agility rank multiplier by 2.
Okay.
The game plays with those features to give you like damage reduction rather than just like subtract. There are some abilities that subtract flat abilities, but for the most part, that's how they sort of gauge like greater effectiveness, lesser effectiveness is a greater multiplier or a lesser multiplier.
Well, he's definitely probably going to do that because I mean, any bonus against this brick is going to help.
Yeah, that shield is going to be
it's going to be there when we get into it.
Okay, so right now I'm going to give you an edge on the attack as well because he's totally unaware that you're making the attack. So,
all right, here we go.
What are you thinking? So first off, your combat sense would cost you 5, and because that's I think it's 5 focus to get in that stance, isn't it? Or hold on, maybe no. I'm thinking of chain strikes.
Yeah, focus.
All right, so then you're in that until you're stunned. So yeah,
right. That's concentration.
Okay. All right. And then awesome. All right, so his melee defense is a 16, but you have an edge. So
yeah, let me go ahead and re-roll the Marvel die and see if I can get
that.
Something.
Can only get better. Yeah. Great. Okay.
Good.
So that is 36. So here's where this is where it's helpful to see the multipliers. So you swing in. I'm not going to let him make any reactions either, but he will get the benefit of his damage reduction. So the way damage reduction works with Cap's shield is a -4. So we reduce, you've got right now ×6, that becomes a ×2. So it'll be 10. Oh, you know what? You're right. It is adding a +6 rather than the ×6. Let me see. I fucked something up, I think, here.
Well, I thought you adjusted it for something else.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it was earlier.
Let me take a look here, because I've screwed something up here. The multiplier is 6, and then, let's see here.
Was it accuracy and
might? The damage multiplier is 2, and the modifier is 6. Let me check. Maybe it's doing it correctly. It's displaying. I'm going to check what Mighty 2 does, because I can't remember if Mighty adds to your damage as well as... So Mighty adds +1 to damage multipliers and +1 bonus to melee checks other than attacks. Yeah, so it is to the damage multiplier. So I think that's displaying incorrectly. So let me do this here.
I'm trying to remember what we did.
Yeah, so that should be, that's displaying as 4 now. And your, yeah, that's also displaying incorrectly. Okay, so that should fix everything now.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, your multipier's right. All right, so let's sort this out. So what it'll be is 5 times 2. Because you're -4 for the damage multiplier, as he gets that big shield up. 10 plus 8 is 18 health damage, though. So.
Better nothing.
Okay. So you hit him. He staggers back, and he curses something in Russian, and then looks at you. Who are you?
I'm Moon Knight.
I knew there was something in here. Why don't you go ahead and roll initiative?
All right.
Roll initiative for him. Remember, you got the edge on your initiative as well.
And let me get back over here.
He does as well. Let's reroll that. Ugh, I did not roll well.
Let's reroll that. There we go.
Okay. It's way better. Okay.
I need to go in and change it manually.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
15,
okay.
You were up first. What are you doing?
Okay.
So you're picture you're standing like within striking distance of one another right now.
Yeah. Let's see here. The first, I guess he probably would try and just straight up whack him. Let's see what's a good option. Fast attacks. That's a split attack. I think he'd probably go with vicious attack. I think that's what he's going to do.
Nice. Okay. And vicious attack does not target agility. So I'm just checking his what do you call it?
What he's got.
Ooh, what does brace for impact do? It's got some. I really should have looked all these up beforehand. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, there's a fucking super cool reaction he's got. So go ahead and give us your attack if you'd like.
So 18 total.
18 total is, yep, enough to hit.
So 4 times 2.
So he's got the shield as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that reduces it to 8 plus 8 is 16. But here's what you're going to do. I'm using my reaction to use brace for impact, and I'm just going to convert all that over into focus.
Okay.
So he knocks it aside, and then he is going to return the favor. Let's see here. He will do... Ooh, shield bash sounds appropriate.
Now, would this be where I use a reaction?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, let's see here. Well, what are the default reactions? I think they're escape.
The default reactions are weird.
Oh yeah, none of these are particularly helpful.
Let's see. Skulk, which is actually kind of cool. Interpose. Fastball special, which I don't know why that's a reaction. And then like escape, help teammate.
Oh, because I think the action is to throw someone, and the reaction is to make the attack with fastball special doing double damage.
Okay.
Because you're acting out of your turn sequence.
Action, yeah.
Help teammate, interpose. Yeah, so none of those are. I don't think any of the standard reactions are going to check. Shield bash. Oh, okay. So on a fantastic success, double damage and knock prone. All right. So your melee defense is a 14. He gets +6 to this. So he squares in and swings that big shield around that just blocked. That is a terrible fucking roll. 6 plus 6 is 12. So he swings at you, and it's a miss.
Oh my god.
All right, then. Moon Knight, your turn. What are you doing?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's see. It's a vicious attack because that's going to get me double damage if I can get a Marvel die. So
17 is a hit.
2, 4.
Ooh, that's dog shit damage. You want to focus that or karma the Marvel die?
Yeah, I can do a karma and just reroll damage, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so let's see how that works.
It's not only reroll damage because if you get you could get a fantastic result out of that.
Oh, so it's reroll the whole thing?
No, you just reroll just like any other edge. You spend technically the way it works. You spend karma to gain edge on a roll. Edge is always retroactive, so you can choose to roll.
So reroll that too.
Yeah, roll edge on that Marvel die.
Got it.
Still, it's better though. So it's 4. So again, that shield gets up. That is 4 times 2 is 8. 16 damage again. And his reaction once again is get that shield up. Okay. Then he didn't appreciate that, and he recognizes he did a shit job, so he's going to try and shield bash you again. We'll start shaking things up afterwards, but I want to see if I can connect with this first. So I need a 14. I need to roll 8 or higher. Got a success on this one. All right. So then, is there a reaction you'd like to do?
I don't think I've got one that's because my reactions, I think, are tied to agility attacks.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And this is an agility. So.
Okay. So then, so actually this is cool because then maybe this is one of those situations where you're like, okay, I'm getting outmatched hand to hand. Go to range and start using crescent darts.
That's what I was thinking, is just try and get away from him.
That's cool. Okay, so it is an iconic weapon which gives +1 to the damage multiplier. This is 6. That is 30 points of damage. Fortunately, I didn't get a fantastic success. So you take 30 points of health damage. Okay. He manages to connect on that. No fantastic result. All right, Moon Knight, what are you doing?
And I can do it in any order, right? So I can move back first and then.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's move back and.
Where are you thinking? Like just getting a couple of ranger. You want to get up into the rafters again, or?
Yeah, let's get in the rafters. That'll be more disorienting, I think, for him.
Okay. So you roll with the hit and sort of, spring up and you're up into the rafters. Give us a, it's not going to take your action, but give us an agility check.
Sure.
It's only a decent target. Fantastic success. Look at that. All right. Hell yeah. So he didn't expect that coming. Why don't you get an edge on your attack as well?
Cool.
To match that. So what are you doing next?
I think I'm doing make 2 attacks. Yeah, let's do double tap, I think. I think double tap works best.
Okay. And I'm checking to see if this cost me double tap. Awesome. A range check to do regular damage or double and bleeding on a fantastic.
Yep.
Technically, it says bleedigna, so...
Is that what it says?
Yeah. So I'm using a reaction from him. This is shield deflection. So you're going to have trouble on your roll, which means you're basically... Oh, no, you can have both. They cancel out. So it's a normal roll.
So it's just a straight roll, right?
Yeah, so he gets up, tries to hide behind that shield of his. Go ahead, make your agility check. Oh, nice. So 16 against his agility defense is a hit. And that's good damage, my goodness. So with a 6, that's down to 2, 10, 15 points of damage.
Yeah, 15.
Now let me check if brace for impact. I'm going to make sure he's got combat. He's got combat reflexes, so he can do 2 reactions. Brace for impact is a second reaction. So, yep, it is a second reaction. Does physical damage to you. You're cutting away at that focus of his. All right.
Is that an unconscious when that gets to 0 or what?
So when you're out of focus, good question. Let's see what happens.
I can't remember. I think we talked about it the last time we played, but that was a minute ago.
Yeah, it was quite some time. Okay, so here we go. Combat and damage. Fantastic damage. All right, effects of damage. If your health is reduced below 1, you're knocked unconscious. Okay. If your focus is reduced to 0, you are demoralized. Any conditions or powers you were concentrating end immediately. When demoralized, you have trouble on all actions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If their
so
focus,
it is useful.
Yeah, so it is useful. And it's a neat mechanic, too. Yeah, I don't know. Anything that gives you like interesting resource management stuff, even having the extra, like, I wasn't sure. I'm like, well, combat reflexes, if I'm fighting one opponent, is that ever going to come into play? It did. I needed 2 to get the deflection thing up to give you trouble and to reduce it. So that's pretty fucking cool. All right, so for him, now he is going to, you hear people banging at the door. There is a hurled shield bash. Let's see here. But this is an agility attack. Okay. And it cost me 5 focus. Okay. So, I'm going to spend 5 focus to hurl this at you. Do you want to make any reactions to give me trouble?
Let's see here. So, slow motion dodge is a reaction. Yep. He has trouble on the attack.
Awesome. Okay. So then, my agility is +4. Your agility defense is a 15. Oh boy. So he hurls this thing at you. Kung kung, reflects along the bracers or the rafters. 9, 12, 16. So this is a current hit, but I'll roll with trouble. I'll re-roll that 5. Let's see here. I got a 4. That is a 8, 11. I got a 15. I currently am hitting you just by 1. You could spend karma, give me trouble again if you'd like, or you want to take the hit.
Surely the shield's not nearly as bad as his punch.
Yeah, it is his agility multiplier, so that is a little better.
Let's take the hit and see what happens.
Okay, so I rolled a 3 on my marble die. That is, and he gets +1 because of the iconic weapon. 6 times 3 is 18 points. +2 is 22 points of damage.
It's not much better, but it's better.
And then it ricochets back, and he catches it in his hand. Moon Knight, your turn. What are you doing? Oh, and let's talk recovery as well. Remember, you can spend karma to recover as well.
Right. Is that an action?
Good question. Let's see here. Okay, I love having the rules right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Really helpful. Okay, it's under karma. Recovery. It says make a check. Let's take a look in combat, see if that's an actual action, or whether you're just spending karma to do it. I don't think it's an action. I don't see it listed under there. And it's not described as it. So if you want to recover health, it's a resilience check. Target number 10.
Okay. So we'll spend 1 karma for that.
And you cannot spend karma to re-roll this, by the by.
Right, okay.
Okay.
And it's resilience, so come on. Yeah. Story of my life.
All right. See, you're staggered right now. You could spend another karma to try again, I guess. Doesn't say once per round. It costs you your karma to do it.
Yeah, that'll put me out of karma, but that's okay.
You just got to do something cool, or... I mean, you jumped in the rafters. Well, that would probably be worth another karma. The way they say to award karma is... here you go. If you did an excellent job role-playing the character, you rescued someone, you went out of your way to help, you made an inspiring speech, you shouted your catchphrase, or one of your challenging traits came into play.
What is my catchphrase? That's funny.
It's moonin' time.
There we go.
There you are. All right, awesome. Oh, but there's a fucking 2 you rolled, though. But that is 20 health you get back for that, though. Yeah,
that's better than nothing.
Okay. So you, maybe you mutter a prayer to Khonshu.
Yeah, I think he's starting to... Of course, he's definitely now the Mark Spector mindset.
Yeah.
And he's starting to call on Khonshu as if it is more of a being.
Okay. What would you like to do
let's see.
Next?
I'm still at a distance. I think I want to use my crescent darts again.
Yeah.
And that was...
So here's, just as an example of what you might try here. So he's got that iconic weapon, right? That's the thing that is the source of the damage reduction he's getting right now, and the +1 damage multiplier he's getting. On a fantastic success on an attack, you could disarm someone, for instance.
Okay. Probably need to get in and do a melee attack for that.
So what are you thinking for your crescent darts here?
Let's see here. What would... Let's see.
I'm going to double check the phrasing on vicious attack, but I don't think... unless it says attack close, which it might. Yeah, close attack. So that's the only restriction for that.
I think I'm going to use double tap again, because if I can get a fantastic success...
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely,
damage and bleed.
Yep.
So I really think that's the
Okay.
Range attack.
So he's going to use his reaction to impose trouble on that again.
So the 5.
So, yeah, reroll a 5, please. 17 is still good enough, though. His agility defense is only a 17, so that is a hit. It multiplies, so it reduces by so 6 plus, it's 11 points of damage, and yeah, he's still gonna. I said 11 points of damage. Yeah,
that's what you said, Kevin.
Okay. You know, I really like that it's not that you're doing no damage; it's that you're doing little increments of it. Right? That feels pretty like you're getting at least progress towards wearing down the opponent, as opposed to like, oh, you didn't do enough damage to get past his armor.
Yeah, and it feels panellistic to me.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
All right. So for him, let's try something different now. I got a Rico shield. I think that's Rico shield, not Rico. He's not like trying to prosecute the mob. Rico shield is it's the like bouncing off of different targets thing. Oh, it's badass. So we'll use hurl shield once again. So he partially deflects the crescent darts. He runs over and he spins and throws it again, and then he'll say something as well. Do you want to slow-mo dodge as your reaction?
Yeah, I was looking at this. I've got a reaction for slow motion shoot dodge.
Yeah,
it requires focus spending,
which also allows you to make an attack.
Yeah, it makes 2 ranged attacks against separate, or they can focus a single attack on a single target. So I would make the single agility check against him. You
want to do that?
Yeah, I want to mix it up. You know.
Yep. Heck yeah.
Do something different.
So why don't you give us your 2? Well, click on slow mo dodge the power.
Yeah, I will. I got it right here.
Awesome.
There you go.
Okay. So then go ahead and make. You focus a single attack on a single target. Oh, so it has the same effect on it. You're not attacking twice.
Yeah, it's not an attack twice. It's like if there were 2 people, okay, I could make an attack for each of them. But
cool.
Yeah, that's the way I read it.
So go ahead and give us an agility check. I'm out of reactions actually, so I can't. Oh, I'm not going to react against this one.
Okay.
Yeah. He has 2 reactions, but he's going to save them for your actual proper attack. I think he's left himself open here. All right, so that... Oh, good hit, too. Wow. So then that is... Yeah,
he takes half regular damage.
So his damage reduction will apply, but... so that'll be 12 plus... Oh, yeah, it's a normal success, isn't it? Half regular damage. Okay, so then his damage would have been... 17. We'll round up for your damage, so that's 9 damage. But here's the thing: it goes to his health because he's not spending. It's a reaction to focus. So he's paid for hurling his defense away, and I've got trouble on this attack. So here we go. Your agility is a 15. So he hurls. Ooh, I got a Marvel dice, but that is not good enough. And I got to re-roll it too. So currently I got a 11. I got a 15, so I would hit you, but I'm re-rolling that Marvel. I got a Marvel again.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch, indeed. So I got a fantastic success on this. Which knocks you prone. Let's see here. I think that's what the shield bash. So I've knocked you out of the rafters.
Okay.
But let's see here.
Yeah.
Hurled shield bash. Here we go. Okay, that cost me 5 focus as well. Let me get that down. And on a fantastic double damage and is knocked prone. Okay, so the damage on that, unfortunately, I did roll a 6. So 6 times 36, 40 points of damage.
Oh my god.
80 points of damage, actually, because he hurled it. Because of the fantastic success. Now, we didn't lose track of any of your focus, right? Or any of your karma?
I don't think so.
Yeah, shit.
That's okay.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm using the wrong stat. I used his strength.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah. So it'd be
it would be a ranged attack.
Even then, it's a 6 times 6 is 30. Oh, that's ugly. Because the double damage is what fucking drills it home. So you're at 0 health right now as he you trade it off and you drop to the ground. And I think when you come to, though, it is CIA agents. You can kind of... why don't you give us a... give us a resilience check. Once again. Nice. So 50 health. Go ahead and add 50 health to your health bar. So you're sort of, and you realize that someone has pushed you over and is beginning to try to cuff you.
Yeah, we're not having that.
What are you doing?
Really, I mean, he doesn't necessarily want to like hit anybody. What he wants to do is kind of jump out of the grasp, I guess. Jump away from the person.
What I would say is that because you're not trying to actually fight them, you can make a non-combat melee check. Just to try and throw them off of you.
Yeah.
So difficulty on this will be 12.
Is that just the ability score then that I'm rolling?
Yep, just the ability.
I just want to make sure I was right.
Yeah. Easy. So you toss these guys off of you, and then what do you do?
I think he's heading to the window.
Okay. So you head to the window, and they're like, "Got him! Got him!" And there's no sign of Red Guardian here, but what do we see as our final panel as you...
I think you see, Moon Knight probably, he jumps out, throws the swing line up, and, Frenchie's still up there in the mooncopter. And so he jumps into the mooncopter, and they tear off. Mark pulls his mask off. He's got some bruises, a little bit of bleeding there.
Yeah. Frenchie's like, shoot, Lord, what happened?
Commies. That's what happened.
Nice. Awesome. And that, I think, is where we're ending our session. Before we get into the outro, what's your impression of our second time playing this?
I like this game. And I mean, Lord, we play so many. I like this. It has a bit of the Savage Worlds feel to it. Yeah. There is some influencing of the dice mechanic. I don't feel it's necessarily as punishing as Savage Worlds can be.
Yep.
So I like that. And I do really... I haven't played any other heroes. I would like to play maybe a couple different ones to see how different power sets work. But I like the detailed nature of it, where you can do specific things, whether it's a combat thing or a non-combat thing. It's like the connections. You can have those details to your character that differentiate it from another. So I enjoy this. I need to probably pick up the book again and read through it one more time.
Yeah, it's got... well, that's the thing. Like for those listening at home, we decided that we were playing this like a half hour before. So this was the amount of for the looking up and whatnot. I think the cheat sheet is something I'm going to do for every time we play with whoever's hero it is. Just because I think that having that... the character sheets are really good for having all the information you need. Like we had a couple times where we needed to look up, what's the actual phrasing on this power? Having that at hand is great. The way the dice rolling works now is awesome in Roll20. I really, really like that. So easy to roll trouble or whatnot. The back and forth in combat felt really, really fun. And only reason that I won or that the Red Guardian took you out is because of fortunate, fantastic success. Mm-hmm. Right? And they say, look, if you're going against the same rank of heroes, because I just use Cap's stats for Red Guardian, I know canonically he's probably weaker than him. And I think if I wanted to have an adversary that you were going to defeat, I would have someone at rank 3 as opposed to rank 4. But I wanted this, like, the outcome of this fight didn't dictate the story. The outcome of this fight was like, why is this hero here? So whichever one of you guys won, it didn't really matter for me because it would have been similar, like door bursts in and then the CIA comes in. Right. So, but it was cool seeing how, like, you could figure out what was tactically advantageous for you when you were fighting him.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, you have to look at, I mean, granted, he basically has, I mean, just 2 attacks. It's either hand to hand or it's range. That's it. You know, and you have to figure out, okay, what specialty of the ranged is best? What, you know, specialty of the melee is best? Yeah. And if you try one and it doesn't work, then you back up and go to the other one, which is what I did, and it worked good. I mean, especially if I could have gotten his focus whittled down. I mean, I may not have been able to get his health, but if I could have got his focus whittled down, then he's going to have trouble on everything.
Absolutely. And for his,
like I said, it felt panelistic. It felt like back and forth was like this panel, and it did feel comic book in that sense. When
the hurl, I will say too, his hurl shield thing, that costs focus. So it's not like he can keep doing that till the cows come home.
Right.
If you're, by also using his focus as what do you call it, as a replacement health pool, it's also eating into that resource. So he would have ended up having to pursue you at some point.
And I thought of something, I don't know, I'll have to read the rules on that, but I just thought of something like with Mighty. You know, I could have probably picked up a couch and hit him with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I just didn't think of that in the moment.
Yeah. And you're also, the reaction, I did not realize that that's how your slow-mo dodge shooting worked.
Yeah, I read it, and I was like, this looks like something that might be interesting.
And super cool. Like that just felt really, I thought it was, when I read it first, I was like, oh, it's just another attack. Like, but it's a reaction. So you can do your like crescent darts on the one thing and then also throw yourself back as a reaction.
Exactly. You kind of get 2 attacks fundamentally.
Yeah. I really like that.
Am I frozen on your end?
Yeah, your camera's frozen on my end.
I just noticed that.
There we go.
That better? Good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like I liked how last time we just sort of like had a couple of fights and saw how that went, and it was usually against stuff that was about your scale or like much less than you. Playing this as an actual role-playing adventure, it felt like there's everything there that we need in order to have like dice mechanics that would differentiate your character from other characters. And having the traits linked into the edge thing is really fucking cool. That made a big difference, I think.
Well, I mean, it felt like a proper scenario. You know, you went from, there was a bit of a social, and then there was some investigating, and then there was a little more social investigating, and, you know, it kind of moved through the steps, and then there was, you know, the part where it's taking out the KGB dudes. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, that's exactly what you would think in the comic book. That's what you're going to get in the first 10 pages or so, is he's going to go whoop some ass.
Yeah.
And then the last 10 pages, he's going to have a knockdown, you know?
Yeah. And it wasn't...
it felt very comic book.
That's great. Yeah. After our last session, because of the complexity with it, I was really reluctant to get it back to the table to see, just because I felt that it might have been too busy. I don't feel that way anymore. With the taking the extra steps to prep, I mean, and in particular, seeing how the reactions are not just I parry, I dodge. Like the reactions for each of you guys were really interesting. Like brace for the hit, taking the damages as focus instead. That was really fucking cool. And your slow-mo dodge shot was really, really cool as well.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Now I'm looking forward to seeing more about the what other abilities the characters have. So, any closing thoughts on our second time playing Marvel Multiverse role playing game?
No, but Moon Knight's pissed off now, so the commies have got it coming to him.
And what's the deal with that? I think with your fantastic success, there may be something else you grabbed that will be a further lead. We just haven't talked about it yet.
Don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. So awesome. All right, then. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our Moon Knight one-shot, or at least issue 1 of our multiversal effort playing on Earth 2950. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the quasi-campaign, then please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to most games we run on the channel. This is probably under the Assorted Games channel, because we haven't, this is the second time we've got this to the table. There's also a other channels there, like Finding a Group, or GM discussion, or virtual tabletop discussion, convention discussion. There's a great community that has built up over the years over there, and you're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard to find and out of print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard to find and out of print RPGs. If you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight, all caps, all one word, and you'll save yourself 10% in your purchase. And if you they have something listed in stock that is not, or sort of listed in the catalog that is not in stock, be sure to take advantage of their want list feature, and you can put it on a want list and they'll send you an email when it comes in. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children, including a bunch of relief efforts in a bunch of crisis areas right now. You can find all about that by following that link. And any donations that you make through that link go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to benefit the kids who benefit from their services. As a small way of saying thank you, at the end of July, we will start circulating the information for the charity sessions for the remainder of the year. If you've donated $25 or more through the charity since January 1st, you'll be able to vote on them on the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server. And what we're going to be doing is mashing up stuff. We're taking classic adventures from one RPG, and we're going to run them using an RPG they were not designed to run with. So we're taking classic D&D or Call of Cthulhu or other classic adventures and using other RPGs that the donors will vote on, using heroes the donors will vote on as well. And if there's other fun things I can think of for letting the folks who donate contribute to creating those sessions, we'll do that. So if you have donated $25 or more through the Heroes Save Villages campaign since January 1st, be sure to head on over to the Charity Initiatives channel at the end of July, and we'll start having voting information for that. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart Mark Spector, Steve Grant, Jake Lockley, Moon Knight for today. So, Will, thank you so much for playing today. This really has re-sparked my interest in this game again. This was really great session. Yeah,
I'm getting more of a handle on it, getting more used to it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Then, for those listening at home, we'll be back probably in the Great White North with the Guard, but if not, we're going to have some other fun superhero thing to do in 2 weeks' time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that Mark Spector has found in Bronze Age Marvel's New York City. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.